In 1994, three filmmakers would travel into the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, never to be seen again. Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard sought off to seek the infamous Blair Witch. When their equipment and found footage was found 1 year later, we got to witness their terrible tragedy. Tonight, on Watch It in the Dark. Hey folks, Chris here. The Blair Witch Project was released in 1999 and absolutely revolutionized the way that we look at the genre of found footage horror films. The film was the brainchild of Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick, who came up with the idea while students at the University of Central Florida. Sanchez would return to found footage with the VHS series directing VHS 2, and he's also directed for Supernatural and American Horror Story. Myrick's career was a little bit more subdued, but he did direct The Objective and Solstice. The marketing behind the Blair Witch Project certainly needs to be mentioned. They released it as if it was a true story, and they even had a website counting down the days until its release. To this day, many people actually still believe it's a real story. They even used the actors' real names, and they even put up fake missing persons posters to promote the film. IMDb even listed the actors' names as missing next to their profile leading up to the film's release. The film was completely improvised and shot over the course of 8 days, just giving the actors guides and cues on how the directors wanted the film to progress. In part, that's what makes the Blair Witch Project so realistic. The actors' fears were actually real in certain times because they would wake them up at night, they would be out there shaking their tents, and the actors truly had no idea what was going on, and they were actually even directed to act against each other. This style of filmmaking was actually reproduced in a film I touched base on earlier this week, which was Joe Anderson's Australian film, Lake Mungo. The initial shooting resulted in over 20 hours of footage, which the directors edited down to just 90 minutes. Within that, we got to see the complete harassment, sleep deprivation, and even starving of the actors. They really stuck it to them. Now, some critics panned the acting in Blair Witch Project, but again, I think they're being overzealous here. Like Heather Donahue, for instance, it's hard to be an improvisational actor when you're also a principal cinematographer. I think they all did a pretty good job considering what they had to work with and what was being done to them. The directors even made the cast walk around frivolously for an entire day, only to kind of walk around in circles and in circles. And when it's finally revealed that that's exactly what they're doing, they put that scene on film, and the actors' reactions and frustrations are real. The Blair Witch Project is an American folklore classic, giving nods to the Salem witch trials, and it does so without even actually revealing the antagonist, the Blair Witch herself. The use of the film's caroms and stick figures and just, woodsy, outdoorsy hauntedness make up for any lack of gore or real blood that's shown on screen. Apparently, halfway through the film, there was supposed to be a scene where the Blair Witch is shown off in the distance, but apparently when Heather Donahue said her line, the cameraman forgot to pan left, and they never reshot it. Now, personally, I could go either way on this, but I think leaving that out or having that not be there probably helped the film more than it hurt it by actually showing the Blair Witch, which you never do get to see. Well, many credit Cannibal Holocaust for being the first found footage film. It did a good job, don't get me wrong, but the Blair Witch Project did to found footage horror movies what George A. Romero did to zombie movies by revitalizing it and giving it new life. Now, the film spawned a couple sequels, a crappy remake, it's been parodied left and right, and there's even been a couple of X-rated adaptations of it, but for the most part, the Blair Witch Project stands alone. What it did do is that it paved way for certain films like Cloverfield, Wreck, and even the highest grossing film of all time when you compare it to its actual initial budget, Paranormal Activity, which the Blair Witch Project held that title up until that film was released. The Blair Witch Project's initial budget before it got picked up by the major studios during editing was only $30,000. Now, considering that in theaters alone the film grossed over $250 million, it was quite successful. Well, there you have it, folks. 1999's The Blair Witch Project, the found footage film that changed all that would follow. I'm not going to say it's completely scary, and it's probably going to seem a little bit dated, especially for, this day and age. But if you're going to watch it, and you should watch it in the dark.
What in Sam hell's going on in here? Get out! You're not helping.